With us now, the former Vice President of the United States, selected at the tender age of 41 for that job. And we're making a big deal of the guys who are 44 today. Dan Quayle. Mr. Vice President, good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be back.
How you doing these days? You look great.
Doing pretty good. Feeling good.
Excellent.
Great debate the other night.
Congratulations
to the Fox team.
I'm just happy it's over with. You know what I mean? As I told you at the break, my favorite part was good night. Because it's a nerve. You know,
yeah, but on the other side, you're a little nervous, aren't you?
Absolutely. So I don't know how you guys do it. And you've been through a few. But what is it, your sense, before I get into all the foreign stuff, Mr. Vice President, with this race now? Another experienced governor drops out, and so experienced governors don't seem to be cutting it. I don't know what that would mean for Jeb Bush or even Chris Christie, but for some reason they're not gelling. What do you make of this race? As crowded as it remains.
Well, still, the two outsiders are getting more than 50% of the vote. Donald Trump, Ben Carson. Trump has the lead, most of the polls. And I think people are going to have to take him a lot more seriously than they have in the past. I think at first they tried to say, well, he's not going to run, then he ran. And then he's not going to file his papers, then he filed his papers. And then he said, well, how about his financial disclosure? He filed his financial disclosure. He's in. And he's going to be around for a long time.
You think he could win the nomination?
I think he possibly could win the nomination.
Could he win the presidency?
If he's the nominee, I certainly hope so. I think he will be challenged. And I think once it becomes Donald Trump versus one other person.
And it has to be an establishment person. That's the right. Do you buy that?
I think it will be.
Who would that be?
Well, I'd say, the three people right now that you look at the establishment folks would be, clearly if Jeb can come back. But I think most people now are looking at Marco Rubio. And I don't underestimate Ted Cruz. He's got a real following. He's raised a lot of money. I would think one of those three will be the contender along with Donald Trump. Now, the thing to keep in mind, if there's two of them there against Trump, Trump has a very good chance of prevailing. So we'll have to see how this all works out.
My crackpot theory, Vice President, is that given the numbers still in, and more might drop out, and given the fact that a lot of delegates are apportioned now, and they're not winner-take-all, states like Florida are an exception, we could get to Cleveland where the Republicans are going to have their convention without a nominee.
Well, the way that proportional representation works, it's only up until March 15th.
I grant you that.
Okay. Up
Work
to then,
with my math analogy.
Okay.
Am I potentially right?
Yeah. Always potentially. It's theoretically, but practically I don't see it happening because somebody's going to catch on. And after March 15th, as you well know, there's a lot of winner-take-all states. You got Florida, you got California, you've got Texas.
What if Rubio and Bush don't take Florida?
Well, if they don't take Florida and somebody else wins, I think that's a problem for them.
But look, Donald Trump's people have told me, Mr. Vice President, that they take Florida, you might as well put the Republican nomination under his name.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
But look, it's a long process. I think we'll have a little bit more clarity after New Hampshire. Remember, Bill Clinton came in second in New Hampshire in 1992.
He was a comeback kid.
Coming in second.
Right.
So there'll be a lot. Whoever's the surprise in New Hampshire will have their day in the sun. Everybody has their day in the sun.
You're right.
Trump has his. Ben Carson's beginning.
And it comes and goes, right?
It comes and goes, and it's timing. And the timing is when the votes are starting to be taken. And that's 1st of February in the caucuses, and then on to New Hampshire. After New Hampshire, there'll probably be 4 viable candidates, and then after South Carolina, and that maybe there'll only be 3. But if it gets down to 2 fairly quickly, that's when the real
that's when everything could change.